actually think it's indicative of something much larger, something much more systematic, right? So when you have people, I think, that are not qualified to be in roles in taking on these things, but also kind of not qualified in terms of competence and knowing how things work, knowing how should we be using, what kinds of systems should we be using, what are the protocols? There are all kinds of questions that those arise.
Now, what she's talking about is the leak that happened yesterday between Pete Hegseth, J.D. Vance, Mike Walls, all kinds of stuff that happened with that. And Scott Jennings is going to provide more facts and shut down the worldview of people like Tiffany Cross and this girl. Because when they say incompetence, they don't mean like oh, they don't know, we're hiring the wrong people for the job. It's not that. She just wants to say it because of DEI purposes. When I say incompetence, I don't know that I mean it in the same way, because I'm sorry, what happened here? This should not be taken lightly. I definitely don't mean it in the way she does, but I'm like, what's going on? And I'll tell you what I really think is going on with this leak. But Scott Jennings is going to crush and dismantle the worldview of Tiffany Cross, the worldview of this woman, and the worldview of the CNN panelists. Let's go.
The larger issue, too, of accountability. How are we going to deal with this? It's not something that should just go away in the news cycle tomorrow. It is something that should be investigated. It should be investigated with oversight. And I have the real question I think we should be thinking about is, who is doing the investigating of the investigators, right? So the Trump White House says, we'll take care of it. But the problem is, in lots and lots of these cases, there have been independent investigations. There have been congressional investigations, including on both sides of the aisle. But there have also been inspectors general's investigations, right? This is how you pinpoint the problem. What do you do when those options are gone? When the Trump administration has removed them? You can't continue to say, well, this is just carelessness, this is just an accident. Because one time maybe is an accident, but we're also talking about people that should know better and should do better, particularly when it comes to issues of national security.
Now, she's right a little bit, but she's also exaggerating a tad bit too. You gotta be careful the way how you want to put out your message here. The thing is that this is no joke. This really is. It's like, why were you guys using Signal? Because I stopped using that a while ago. That's why I don't fully believe everything, and I think that there's more to it. I don't think that there's any mistakes here, but let's just say that there should be somebody held accountable as to what happened and how did you let it happen. I don't think anybody should be fired. That's dumb. You're not going to fire people from the cabinet. I just don't think anybody should be fired. And also because the multi-layer lies that goes into this is like, why fire people? When you fire somebody, I look at it as a scapegoat. I'm serious on this issue here. But let's see what Scott is going to say. There was something else I was going to say because she's going just a tad bit too far. But let's keep watching. And by the way, guys, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on these videos.
To the point of this being systemic, if you notice, the group name was Houthis PC Group. PC, people who don't know, stands for Principals Committee. In the White House, you have staff level meetings, you have deputy level meetings, and then you have Principals Committee meetings. In order to be eligible to be in a Principals Committee meeting, you have to be secretary level or above. So as mentioned, this is a systemic thing where this is the most senior people in our administration who are being careless with information and classified data. And surely it's not the first time that they have done this. And I think the most important thing about this particular case that people should understand is that this was not just a drone strike, although that would be very, very concerning regardless of that. But this was a manned mission. There were human lives on the line for this mission. So the fact that this could have fallen into wrong hands because of this carelessness would have potentially impacted the lives of American soldiers.
Can I see you nodding yes when I think it was the professor saying there should be an investigation into this?
Yeah, I do think there should be, and I think they're already doing it at the White House. But
I don't think there's anything shocking about him nodding yes. It's like, did I see you nodding yes? Oh, you think that there should be an investigation? I don't think that Scott Jennings, if he said no, that's when I would have been like, he's insane. But I wouldn't expect him not to say that there should be an investigation. Like, this isn't one of those things where, it's like, oh, you're going to get him because he's MAGA. He's a rational guy.
I totally agree with you because they're not quite sure how he wound up on the thing. And we need to find that out if there's something wrong with this system, which, by the way, I should just add again, they say already existed, was preloaded on computers and devices when they got there and was in use upon their arrival. So maybe we needed an investigation of when signals started being used and by who and why people thought it was a good system to use. But of course, when you make a mistake, you own up to it, you investigate the cause of it.
Did Pete Exit just own up to it, admit to it?
Well, look, I don't think there's, I mean, the White House has
I think the
admitted,
answer there is no, though, right?
the head of the National Security.
But hold on, let's not gloss over what he just said now. I know everybody wants to get a W and, we run here. But let's not gloss over it. The fact is, he did just say that Signal is something they've been using. So this whole time, like I got off of Signal a while ago. So you mean tell me the whole time the Pentagon's been using Signal? And I knew to get off Signal? We really got to figure these things out. So we can't say that this is just like, oh, Trump administration, if this is a system that they've been using. But I think they use it for special reasons. But we'll let Scott finish it. I'm going to show you what I really think happened.
Counsel and his spokesman have said these appear to be authentic messages, so they have absolutely validated that it occurred. So you own up to it, you figure out what happened, and you use it as a teachable moment, which is don't make these kinds of mistakes again, and you learn from it. And I agree, you do try to move forward. But I agree with you. You have to look into these things. You can't slough it off. It's an important deal. And I'm sure there's more details about it that we don't know yet, but that's what an investigation would uncover.
But what does it say that our Secretary of Defense, who leads the largest employer in the entire world, 2.9 million people, and who oversees the best fighting force in the world, was willing to share war plans on a text message app?
Well, there is a dispute about the nature of war plans between Hegseth and Goldberg, and I haven't seen what the texts look like, and neither have you, and so we'll let them fight that out. They're saying...
I like the way how he drops that, like, and it's like... because I'm a gangster, and neither have you, so we'll let them figure that out. Yeah, that's true, because I don't think that... I heard that the war plans were kind of... Because I haven't read the article, but I heard that they were, like, saying, like, okay, let's bomb them now with, like, bomb emojis and stuff like that. That's why I really think that this is a big show.
But it wasn't...
I think this might be an issue of, like, capital W, capital P here.
I don't know.
They confirmed the authenticity of all the exchanges there, which included targeting information, personnel... weapons being used. That seems like, at a minimum, lowercase w, lowercase p war plan, yes? A plan for carrying out a military action.
Sure. I mean, obviously some details were being shared in the moment that it was occurring. But again, we don't really know because Jeffrey didn't publish all these things, which is probably the responsible thing to do.
If I have to choose between the two, I'm going to believe the journalist Jeffrey Goldberg. And we do know the danger of this, Scott, quite frankly, because in December...
Okay, we already know. Look, all right, let's... First of all, Tiffany, like, she couldn't wait, okay? Tiffany Cross, if you guys don't remember Tiffany Cross, I have covered Tiffany Cross. She's the one who thinks, like, white people are bad, white people bad all the time. These light-skinned women always seem to think that, too. Like, I bet this one hates white people, too, and I bet there's a great-great-grandfather who is a white man, okay? I have, too. I don't go there, So that's Tiffany Cross. White people bad, Trump bad, everything bad, just because, okay? So now that I've introduced you to Tiffany Cross, let's listen to the little bit left of what she has to say.
The FBI and the CISA warned, and they name-check Signal, that we have to be careful about engaging these kind of platforms. They actually implicated China, although China denied any wrongdoing, but they said that China has the ability to infiltrate these systems, and it threatens our metadata. Now, this is before Kash Patel ran it, Mr. Deep State himself, so who knows what kind of nonsense they're spewing now.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what does that even mean, Mr. Deep State himself? What does that mean? That's why I don't take people like Tiffany Cross serious. What does that mean? Say what you're saying. Why is he Mr. Deep State? I have a problem with the administration because they make you take a pledge to Israel before you get started. But he's not Mr. Deep State. Come on.
This was actually something that our own American agencies warned us about, and the Secretary of Defense ignored those warnings and still involved Signal. And according to the reporting, Waltz himself included.
So it kind of just ends in the middle.
Secretary
there.
had
So,
said there's...
And like, let me go to Twitter and let's just take a look. Now, so when you look at these, it's from Suleiman who posted it. And I was saying, I did say like this is a clown show. It was a clown show, like this, but I also didn't know. I mean, it's still a clown show. That we've been using Signal. Like, that's insane. So it says, Pete Hegzev, if you think we should do this, let's go. I just hate bailing in Europe again. Let's make sure our messaging is tight here and things are, we can do it to minimize risk to Saudi oil. Like, it's like these little, things like Pete says, VP, I fully share your loathing of a European freeloading. This is signaling because people are starting to all of a sudden talk about the crown runs the U.S. I've seen this on Twitter. Regular folk don't talk like this, so thank you for watching. But Mike is correct. We are the only ones. So then they talk about like making it clear Egypt and Europe are we expect in return. So apparently they started bombing Yemen for Egypt as well. Egypt is very complicit in a lot of these things that a lot of people don't want to talk about. And now here is the thing. I got Goya Bean Graper on here saying, remember what Nick Fuentes has said, Joe Kent was CIA. He's currently in the group chat with the Trump admin coordinating strikes on Yemen. This is from the article, and it says a person identified in Signal as Joe Kent, Trump's nominee to run National Counterterrorism Center, is named Joe Kent. Wrote at 8:22. There is nothing time sensitive driving the timeline. We'll have the exact same options in a month. Whatever that was going on, Joe Kent is on it. Joe Kent is connected to Peter Thiel, and J.D. Vance is a Peter Thiel stooge, if you will. So when you see J.D. Vance, this makes J.D. Vance look good as he's speaking America first things. I personally think that this was leaked on purpose to make J.D. Vance look good and make him look better than Trump, because it's more America first. It's almost like, I don't want to bail out Europe again. And there's another part to this where he's like, I don't want, this kind of goes against the president's messaging of, being anti-war or something like that. But if this is what he wants to do, then okay. Look, I'm just here to spread the inconvenient truth, and we'll just keep on watching it. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.